It is the end of February and the beginning of March, and nothing new came out this weekend, so I think it's perfect time for a nostalgia test. This one is thanks to Yogi Jonah1243, who asked me to do a comparison of the original and remake of Suspiria. Yes, this request was made weeks ago. I may be coming late with this, but hey, at least I came.
Giggity. What? Nothing, it's stupid.
And that's all that matters, right? So I'm gonna do the usual, breakdown what happens in Suspiria 1977 with my thoughts during the flick, do the same for Suspiria 2018, talk about the differences and similarities of the two, and decide definitively which is better, because I have that kind of power.
Down here, I'm God.
Let's get spooky with a little bit of dancing. Suspiria in 1977 starts out with our main girl, Susie, traveling to a prestigious dance school in the pissing rain. I always feel bad for actors having to go through tough weather for a role, but then again, my buddy Johnny at Johnny Recaps went through much worse as an extra on Game of Thrones, so I guess that means Susie can suck it up a bit. She knocks on the door, but they refuse to open it for her, so then she leaves, and our cabbie drives her away, and while that's happening, she sees a girl running away from the dance school into the woods. She reaches a kind of hotel, and everything is super colorful, and the music just pulls you in. But what takes you out is the shitty audio.
That's not a good start, but keep going.
Yeah, I don't know why some movies went this route. Maybe they couldn't afford to mic up all of the cast members or something, but yeah, all of the dialogue is dubbed over terribly.
Beginning in kindergarten.
No, that's not it. I don't give a damn about being kicked out.
Well then?
It's useless to try and explain it to you.
Fucking shoot me. So the girl gets to her room and a monster hand bursts through the window and grabs her. The editing here is weird because she seems to be in a different place than where she was, but she shouldn't be. And then she gets stabbed in the heart, and then she's hung from the ceiling of the whole building. Her corpse gets dropped through the glass ceiling, and the debris falls onto the owner of the place, killing her in the process. This was a pretty jaw-dropping scene and impressive shot. See?
Well done.
Our main girl the next day stops by the dance academy and mentions that she came by yesterday like she was supposed to, but whoever answered the door for her turned her away. The head of staff shrugged it off like it was no big deal. We get introduced to some other dancers and everyone seems to be overly fixated on money, but that appears to be the norm here. As she walks through the halls, Susie keeps hearing people say things like witches and whatnot. Practice time! We get a scene where Susie is able to show your moves, and the performance knocks her on her ass with a big old nosebleed. She gets moved into a special room to recover, which sucks for her because now she's all alone. That night, as she's brushing her hair for bed, Susie notices maggots on her comb, and everyone on the floor freaks the fuck out because there's maggots all over the ceiling. So they all get moved into a big gym to sleep until pest control can come in and take care of it the next day. And as the ladies are sleeping behind a giant curtain, some big red light is on. Why? To make sure that they know some dark fuckery is about to happen? Seriously, why is this happening? So our girl's new friend Sarah hears some serious snoring and tells our girl Susie that it could be the directress making spooky ass snoring sounds right behind the curtain.
Huh?
Yeah, that was a weird scene for me. We jump to their blind piano man's dog, and I guess this happens off screen, but the dog bites a kid, so the head of the school kicks his useless eyes out of the place. We then follow him at night, and he is in a big open area outside, and then his dog turns on him and tears his throat out. Yeah, this seems pretty random. I mean, yeah, the school has its secrets, but I doubt the blind guy really saw much.
I'm so fucking funny.
The next day, Sarah keeps telling our girl about the secrets that goes on in this place and some info that the girl from the beginning stumbled upon. She even has some letters and clues, but this is at night, and for some reason our girl Susie just can't stay awake and she passes out and poor Sarah starts hearing things. She starts running in the dark and she almost gets away from an assailant who is dog shit at picking locks with a straight razor. As she is about to escape a room via a high window, she falls onto a bed of razor wire.
Yeesh.
The poor girl crawls out like this is a saw trap, only for her to get her throat sliced as she nears the finish line. It's sad. Only cause she's hot and helpful. If she was a bitch or, heaven forbid, ugly, I mean, who would give a fuck? Our girl wakes up and the headmistress says Sarah left, and one of the guy dancers, who's a bit of a crush at this point in the movie, gives the same cover story. Uh-oh. Our girl then calls some random jabroni who, I guess, knew Sarah? I really don't know who the fuck this guy is. Maybe I missed something. He introduces her to someone who knows a lot about the school and witchcraft. This guy talks about the foundation of the school, and it was founded by someone called the Black Queen. No, not that one. Madame Marcos. She died in a fire, and her favorite pupil then took over the school, Madame Blanc. He goes on saying that witches are inherently destructive. Their goal is to achieve great wealth at the cost of harming others. Covens are built upon their leader. Their leader is 100 times stronger than all of the others, but if she dies, they all become powerless. Our girl goes back to the school and sees that everyone is gone to the theater without her. She then dumps her recovery food down the toilet in the sink. That night, she hears some footsteps of the leadership wandering around at night and tries to retrace their steps. She gets to a special room but finds it to be a dead end. She remembers back to something at the beginning that gave her a clue about a secret lever, which of course she does find, and she finally sees where the leadership goes at night. She overhears the head of the school talking about wanting to kill the American girl. Not sure why, she's literally done nothing but pass out during one dance performance and gets drugged every night. Our girl runs into the next room and sees Sarah's corpse laid out and nailed to a board. She then really starts to book it. So some people try to chase her and she gets into another secret room. She hears the deep snoring of some geriatric bitch and the Black Queen starts taunting our girl. Our girl goes in for the kill, but the body disappears. The Black Queen then summons something unholy to attack Susie. Holy shit, that really surprised me. Susie turns back again and sees a light outline of the invisible Black Queen and stabs her in the neck. Her death causes the whole school to burn, and we even see some of the staff bleed out on the floor. Our girl walks out into the rain, kind of like we're back at the beginning, but instead of suffering in the rain, she smiles. And the movie ends. So the OG Suspiria really only has 3 jaw-dropping moments going for it. Everything else I can fucking leave in the dirt. What is really surprising is how high the ratings are for a movie that has terrible audio, barely any kind of background to our main character. She obviously has no character arc, and I have no idea why she's even chosen to this school. We don't even know how good of a dancer she is. We also don't know why the head mistress of the school wants her dead. Is it just a spell to get more wealthy by killing her? Wow, what a personal story for our main character, and what a motivation for our main antagonist. Okay, let's move on. Suspiria 2018 starts out the same year as the OG, 1977, and already this movie tells the story differently by breaking down the individual parts into acts. Act 1 is titled 1977. A girl is desperately banging on the door of a psychiatrist's office to be let in at the last minute. It's Patricia from the school, played by Hit Girl.
Those are for motherfuckers.
She rants about the dance school and what they did for her and then what they did to her, and even speaks of witches. She then storms out saying that if they found out what she was doing there, they would kill her. We then jump to our main character Susie, played by everyone's favorite reporter.
What are butt plugs?
She gets into the school. By the way, we're in Germany. The headmistress, Madame Blanc, made an exception to see our girl even though she has no references or experience. She auditions without music in front of a few chicks in charge in a room full of mirrors. Her dance moves are very aggressive and physical, and it catches everyone's eye, even Madame Blanc, who isn't in the room. She's helping Mia Goth deal with some personal shit. Blanc is so impressed by our girl that she is immediately accepted. Our girl gets the rundown of the situation. They can't pay her much, but her room and board will be free. Also, she's moving into old Patricia's room. I guess she got found out. Act 2, Palace of Tears. We are with all the ladies in charge of the place and they are voting for someone to take charge, and it's between Marcos and Blanc. Marcos wins by 3 votes and continues to be in charge. They talk about some kind of ritual and how it didn't work with Patricia. They have to find someone new, and Susie is an option. I guess all the other chicks suck at dancing.
Oh, sick burn.
I guess in order to lead a coven of witches, you really need to be able to dance it out. Okay, sure. At practice, because of Patricia's absence, a few key characters are switching roles. Olga is taking Patricia's part, Sarah is taking Olga's, but Olga, who, no offense to the actress, but kinda offense given, she seems to be out of place here because her face looks 20 years older than everyone else in the room.
Man, that's just mean. That's mean, man.
Olga is flipping out because of Patricia's absence and storms out of there. Now they are missing a lead and our girl volunteers. She's seen the performance 100 times and she thinks that she can do it. Right before her demonstration, Blanc blesses her hands and feet. While Susie is dancing, Olga gets led into the mirror room and is trapped and crying. Sad. Her body gets wrecked because her limbs are tied to Susie's movements and she gets thrown across the room in a pretty infamous scene in the horror community. Susie stops the performance prematurely because she's about to puke, kind of like in the OG.
Same, but different.
The story's main focus is on the dance school and Susie, yes, but every once in a while we get some scenes with our psychiatrist. He is going through his notes and we see 4 big names listed. The Reverend Mothers, and on later pages we see Marcos. Ah, she's not as big as she seems. Back at the studio, the witches go and pick up Olga. Fucking shit name, by the way. Seriously, she's not a morbidly obese German lunch lady, just some poor girl who has some shitty parents. They pick her up with some big fish hook blades. They could maybe be metal rib cages, I don't know, they could just be a cool unique weapon that the writers came up with. Blanc and Susie share a meal about the dance, shit on Olga, naturally, and then she slyly removes the spell she put on Susie. Act 3, Borrowing, begins the next day with some detectives coming to the school and ask about Patricia. The headmistresses take them to the back room and put them under a spell and treat them like the headmistress in American Dad.
I knew having a boy walking around Pendlington with his little dick would be a distraction.
During their fun, Sarah and Susie break into the records room looking for anything on Patricia and notice that her and Olga's files are missing. Uh-oh. We then get to some more dance practices, but this one feels a little different. As Susie moves, we cut to some old crone's hand touch a wall, and the ladies in charge lock eyes because they know what's happening. And when they discuss it later, it turns out that Marcos was there and she was under the floorboards. I guess she really wanted to feel Susie's presence, but since she's an old leathery chair, she had to do it in secret. It is decided that they are going to prep Susie for a ceremony and want a witness, and they pick the psychiatrist. Ah, it seems these hags know everything. And we get a scene of Susie having bad dreams and Sarah coming in to comfort her.
Giggity. What? Nothing. It's stupid.
No, not like that. But apparently bad dreams are the norm at this place. Act 4. Taking. Our psychiatrist goes and talks to the detectives who of course don't remember anything weird about the school. He then thanks one of them for helping him out of Poland many years ago. At the school, Susie, despite making a great first impression, needs to improve her jumping, and she needs a little extra help, so Blanc takes the abilities from their best jumper and transfers it to Susie. Okay, I guess you can just Frankenstein the perfect dancer here. Later, the psychiatrist Dr. Klempler is able to talk to a group of girls, and Sarah happens to be one of them. They talk and have dinner, and he tells her everything he suspects happened to Patricia, and Sarah storms off in a huff saying that she hopes he never comes back to the school and that what he's saying is crazy. But really, she just doesn't quite want to believe it. Yet. That night, she does a little snooping and retraces the steps of the old crone's footsteps at night. It leads her to a secret room in the audition room. She finds a room of trinkets and even snags one of the metal rib cage things. She even overhears some of the dark stuff that the old ladies are talking about, and she storms out of there. She meets up with Dr. Klempler and gives him everything she has. He goes deeper into the pretty interesting lore of the story, that there are 3 Reverend Mothers, darkness, tears, and sighs. Marcos claims to be one of the mothers, others, but there is a current division at the school in the Coven. We already know this, but these characters didn't, so it's a good example of writing a story for the characters to follow, not just the audience. She makes it back to the studio, but sees that one of the hags knows what she's been up to, which is obvious. Nothing gets past these goats. They are getting ready for the big performance. Sarah seems to be missing, and Susie asks, "What's up?" And of course, the story goes that she showed up early for her makeup and then she just left. Sure, buddy. Act 5. All the floors are darkness. Time for the big dance.
Showtime!
The gals are dressed in this stringy, drapey red costume and wear flesh-colored panties, which is kinda odd to me. Wouldn't it be better if they were red? I guess it kinda gives off the impression that they are supposed to be naked to the audience of the performance, but maybe I'm just wrong on this one. Meanwhile, Mia Goth is wandering around in a dark hall and she sees the broken, tortured bodies of Patricia and Olga. They aren't dead, but I'm sure as shit they wish they were. Damn, these witches are mean. Sarah gets caught in a trap which just snaps her leg in half. One of the witches comes in and heals it over and puts her in a trance, and she joins the performance. The performance goes well, but personally, I think they should have upped the volume on the music so it could stand out better. At the very end, Mia snaps back into reality and reacts publicly about her broken leg. The good doctor knows something is up and bails. We get some communication with Blanc and Susie telepathically. She went off book and messed up the performance. She practically admits to Blanc that she knows what's going to happen, and it kind of frightens Blanc. She decides to take away our girl's bad dreams. Act 6, Suspiria. The doctor decides to turn away from all of this and throws his notes and evidence of the school off a bridge. He then goes to his cabin and he sees his long-lost wife there. Aw, isn't that too good to be true? Because it obviously fucking is. They walk and talk, and before he knows it, he's at the school and is forcibly taken inside. Susie is walking through the school with some shitty special effects going on, but I'll get to that later. She enters into a room that's just full of TNA.
Giggity. What? Nothing, it's stupid.
All of the students and half of the old hags are naked and are in these ritualistic poses. We even see a sluggish monster with teeth and random nipples all over. Ah, so this is Marcos. Please hold. We even see the zombified gals, Patricia, Olga, and Sarah. Their intestines are being pulled out. Yeesh. Blanc is against the ritual and tries to stop it despite Marcos' orders, and because of her interference, Marcos slices open the back of Blanc's neck. Marcos says that Susie must forsake her birth mother. Won't be too hard considering she was an abusive bitch. As she rejects her mother, a demon comes out of the curtains and bows to our girl. Marcos is freaking out and asks who Susie is, to which she responds, "Who anointed you?" And Marcos mumbles, "Mother Suspiria." Susie responds with, "I am she."
Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O.
The demon kisses Marcos and she dies. The demon then starts making the rounds and kills every witch that voted for Marcos in their latest election by making their heads explode.
Fuck yeah.
Our girl Susie is either absorbing their powers or essence or something. She rips open her chest cause I guess her heart needed to breathe or something, I really don't know. She then goes to the tortured souls of the zombie-like chicks and grants each of them a wish, and they all wish to die, so she lays them to rest. The scene ends with our girl approaching the good doctor who witnessed all of this, naked and on the floor. She then helps him out of there. Epilogue, a sliced up pear. The next day, things are back to normal for the students. They were told Blanc has left the company, though she did survive her injuries, so that's a little confusing. Maybe she will be back after her neck heals from being turned into a Pez dispenser. One of the witches seems to be still in shock after everything that happened, didn't even clean up the blood on her face. We then see Susie visit the doctor while he is in bed resting at home. She tells him what really happened to his wife to give him some final comfort and apologizes for the stuff that the other witches did to him. She then wipes his memory of everything that happened before, and the movie ends. So similar to the original, Suspiria 2018 has 2 to 3 good jaw-dropping moments to it. Other than that, this isn't my favorite movie. It's not that I didn't like it, but honestly, I would not have given this a rewatch until a certain someone requested it of me.
You did this to me!
I'm just messing. We definitely get to know our girl much more here, which is better, and we even get to know more characters, which is good as well. And that's all I really got to say with my brief after-watch thoughts. Okay, let's go through both these bitch witch movies and see what's good, what's bad, what's the same, and what's different. So in the 1977 version, like I said before, the kills in this movie are great, but what's shit is that we barely get to know anything about Susie as a character. We don't even get to see her dance, and this is a dance movie. The audio dubbing over can't help but disconnect you from what's happening. The movie is very colorful, which does give it a bit of charm, but all we know about the Coven is that they kill people in order to become wealthy. Alright, not a terrible motivator, but it's not super personal. Also, the headmistress, I think it's Blanc, wants to kill our girl at the end of the movie. Why? She has done shit since she's gotten there, and it's their fucking fault. They're the ones who knocked her for a loop when she tried out, and they kept drugging her with her recovery food every night. Why is she there? Just to be thrown into the meat grinder of the school so that they can get more money? Again, not very personal, so it's kinda not very special. Susie's relationship with Sarah was really well done, and since Sarah was so nice, it did make me feel pretty sad when she got killed, and her death was pretty brutal. But also really worth it for the corpse scene at the end of the movie, which was deliciously dark. Moving on to 2018, the movie is told in acts, yes, so that is a bit different, but honestly I don't really think it's that big of a deal. We do get to know this Susie a bit more because we do get visions of her past and what that was like, but I'm not sure if it really led up to much because I'm not sure if she was Mother Suspiria reborn or what she was going through at the school made her accept to be the next vessel of Mother Suspiria. The start of the movies is pretty much the same with Patricia, and she gets killed off quick, and it's great. In the remake, we see her briefly, and then is gone for the whole movie until she shows up at the end. So obviously the similarities are the setting of the dance school, and some of the most impactful characters having the same name. Other than that, these movies are pretty different, and I think what the remake did that was obviously a good decision was to have more dancing in the dance school movie. Yes, the original had much more of a mystery solving approach to it, but I don't think they did it very well because we didn't really get to know the main character much, so why should I care? Also, it's mostly other people doing the detective work, and it's not until the very end of the movie that our girl gets lucky in who to talk to and overhearing some shit from the beginning. The violence in both is very impactful, so neither really get the point there. We do see way more witch stuff happen in 2018, which is what we came to see, and of course it's nice that they delivered. Unlike that season 2 of Penny Dreadful where instead of having witchcraft rituals all over the place, we get a naked witch beast mode thing that it just felt cheap. So the motive behind the witches in the remake is they wanted to find a vessel for Marcos, but I guess they really need to be a good emotional dancer before that could happen. Okay, I don't really see why that's so special, cause all of the other chicks are pro dancers and are in young hot bods, so why aren't any of them good enough? Isn't the point to just move on from your slug-like body into something young and better? I don't know. The doctor character has way more of an impact on the story. Yeah, there is a doctor in the original, but I'm pretty sure he knew Sarah, not Patricia, and he's literally only there for one scene. Oh, and before I move on from talking about the docs, I thought the voice of the doctor in the remake was weird as hell the whole time, so I looked up the person who plays it, and it's Tilda Swinton, who plays Blanc, and also played Marcos.
What? Oh, come on!
Was this some sort of fucking vanity project of hers? Why the fuck did she play 3 different roles? Was it to save on budget? Did she really just want to prove to the world that she could play a dance instructor, a male German Holocaust survivor doctor, and a witch troll? Fucking weird ass decision making there. Moving on to the other characters. Of course, the blind piano man isn't brought back into the remake because he is just an excuse for another kill to happen on screen. Not that there's anything wrong with that in a horror movie, but the first movie only had like 4 good guy kills, and one of them was by accident, so all of them should mean something. Also, Olga in the original is just the original roommate of Susie before she gets moved after her nosebleed, and then she disappears from the movie entirely. In the remake, she is part of one of the most impactful horror movie kills in recent memory, so obviously the remake wins there. Another character comparison is the original Blanc, who seems to be the visible head of the school, and she's a bitch. But in the remake, she does seem to really like our girl. She's no saint, but since she does grow fond of her, it allows a bit more complexity to the story, which I think was an improvement. One bit of shade that I have to throw at the 2018 is the special effects. They do this random light thing that happens every now and then, and I'm not sure if it's a spirit or something, but it looks like it was done in Photoshop, and it always took me out of the scene. Also, 2018 doesn't seem that long ago, but for some reason they went with the old-ass janky slow-mo effect instead of it being smooth and visible. It's like a mix of shaky cam, jump cuts, and slow-mo all rolled together just to ruin a scene. In both movies, the witches are quite mean, but I guess the division in the remake is out of kindness because Marcos wants to take on the body of some poor young girl instead of relinquishing her power and authority to someone else and moving on like her superior, Mother Suspirium, did with her. Or kind of did. More on the witch's cruelty. It seems that our 3 zombified chicks had to be part of the ritual as well, and that's why they were kept alive till the end, only to get their intestines cut out. Also, Susie did apologize to the doctor at the end, so she may have ended the movie by killing 8 people, but she still has a heart and had to get rid of all of the shitty people. And I think that's about it. And now the moment you've all been waiting for. Which is better, Suspiria 1977 or 2018? And the winner is 2018. Yeah, this shouldn't be too much of a surprise considering I have never heard anyone who has seen both say that they like the original more. And you would think they would considering the ratings are much higher than the remake. But hey, maybe it's just anecdotal, and I just haven't conversed with enough people to find the true fans of these witch movies. The things that really sealed the deal on this decision was the character growth and focus on Susie in the remake, the additional characters and their personal touches on the story, and the audio. There is a bit more uniqueness to the style of the original, which is pretty normal for a movie that's pre-2000s, but it's not enough to get over its personal humps. And that's all from me. Does anyone else have a request from me? I may not get to them all timely, but I will cover them and probably drop them when nothing new is playing. Still gotta play the YouTube algorithm game with my channel size. Thanks for watching if you're still here, and keep it spooky.